Yes. So this is where we left yesterday. Let me start back the Tomcat. Okay. Just a recap of what we did. We created a dynamic web project, and while creating the project, there was a checkbox as create the deployment descriptor. We gave that checkbox, and the web project got created of this structure: src main web app. Inside the web app, there was a folder as meta inf, and there was a folder as web.inf, and it had lib in it, which is library, and the web.xml got created. This was the raw skeletal structure of the web application which got created. After that, we created the servlet here. We created a package. Inside that, we created our first servlet. The first servlet we created using the tool by right clicking and new servlet. Where is the servlet? It is not here. Then you have to go to others and do servlet. Here it is. Using that web and servlet we created. So this servlet got automatically created with do get and do post. And the other servlet which we created was a manual servlet. Just we created one class and we extended. So what is a servlet? Oh, I didn't open my slide. Okay. So servlet is a server-side program which will be listening to the request and which will process the request. So that is the purpose of the servlet. Okay, which slide? Okay, so the servlet is a server-side Java program, and this will be residing inside the Tomcat container. What is a container? It is like a fish tank, or which is a predefined Java libraries. Container, in technical term, container is a predefined Java library which will have these features inbuilt, so that we don't need to rebuild again. And
Rajesh, you were
yes.
explaining about container, right? In software language, there will be like so many containers, right? Maybe like in
Tomcat
Kubernetes, we
is
will use
Tomcat, and we have JBoss, we have WebLogic, we have WebSphere, we have the IBM servers. Now we have the Docker from GCP, Google. So we have lots of containers. If
my
you
question here is usually in Kubernetes, you will create container for
Which
artifacts.
one?
That is in Kubernetes.
Kubernetes. That is also a container. In
Okay.
Kubernetes, whatever you create, that is capable of running a Java application. Correct? It is a container only. That is
Okay,
what I
because
said in Docker.
just I'm
That is
comparing.
Docker.
Okay, that is the same or not? I'm
Yes,
comparing.
it is
Okay.
same. It is at a high level. That's like long back there was only Tomcat. Then slowly, as the time progressed, people started building more and more sophisticated container. No, Kubernetes is also a container,
Okay, sounds good.
because that can host a Java program, that can host a web application and run it. Okay.
Okay.
So the servlet is a server-side program. Now what we did in the web.xml, we gave an entry for all the servlets which we are creating. This can be our name. The mapping should have the same name, and the URL, this has to be in the JSP, and this has to be the servlet name. So that is the flow. The program flow starts from JSP. JSP, we have action, form action. This will reach Tomcat. Tomcat will send it to the web.xml. From the web.xml, it goes here, it sees the servlet name, it goes to the servlet actually with the same name, it finds the servlet, it goes into the servlet. That is how the program flow goes. Any question from yesterday's class we can discuss now, or else we'll continue. You can ask if you have some questions.
I'm clear, Rajesh. Just the flow how it goes from server to the web.xml and then to JSP. And from
Okay.
JSP, where it is going to the servlets, whatever the servlets are mentioning. That's what we're doing.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yes. Okay. So let us continue.
Rajesh, one quick question. Sorry.
Yes, sure, sure.
So is it servlet? Sorry. Can we call a server as a container? I mean, like
Yes, server is a
when,
server is a container. Tomcat server is a container.
okay. So when you say like Kubernetes is a container,
It
then
will have a container. Not only that's what it is. Not only a container. It performs the role of a container plus additional features.
okay, the same as a Docker too.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Yeah, thanks, Rajesh.
Okay, great. So we'll continue the program. So we have a login page. I click on submit. It goes to welcome. From welcome, we are displaying a menu. We used Bootstrap. We go to the calculation. Here, okay, I added this. So what we will do is yesterday we gave just number, and once we hit the primary, we were adding it, correct? We just did the addition. Today what we'll do, we'll reuse this and we'll do all the 4 operations. We will go to the calculate, okay, it is open here, calculator page. Today I'll add one drop down. What is a drop down? It is a, in HTML language we call a select tag. I'll go and show you. You can go to the documentation, HTML select tag. That is to create the document, to create a drop down. We'll go here. You can go to any link. I just want to show how the documentation looks. Okay. The HTML drop down comes like this. There should be a select tag with a name. This name is same as what we used in input tags. In input tag, we have a name attribute. This is where the value is going to be stored and will be sent to the server. In server, we'll use request.get parameter of this name attribute and retrieve it. It is for the exact same purpose the name is. From the drop down, whatever we are going to select, that value will be stored in this name attribute and we can retrieve in the server. So select attribute, ID is not mandatory. We'll have a closing select tag. We have options tag. These are the drop down options. I'll copy this. I'll paste it here. Here is my select tag. Okay, select tag. Instead, I save. I'll refresh the page. Again, calculator page. Okay, there is a wrong. I copied select also. I already gave a select, right? That's why.
Rajesh, what you are trying to get here?
I am trying to generate a drop down. I am going to show you how to create a drop down in HTML. So I have created a drop down now. What I am going to do, I want to perform addition, multiplication, subtraction, and division. So I want to do all these 4 in using a drop down. means after we give this input, let's say 10 and 20, I can select here, do addition, and I'll ask to do it. Here instead of primary, I'm going to do calculate. So here it is. So if I give 10, 20, if I give addition and calculate, it should add. If I select multiplication and calculate, it should multiply. This is what I'm trying to achieve. So I wanted to bring one additional till this text box we did yesterday. So I want to introduce one more tag of the HTML. So you'll know how to use a drop down tag. This is called a select tag. To generate the select tag, we use this syntax. Select is the tag and select is a closing tag. Inside the select, you can give options. How much ever options you give, those many values will be added in the drop down. An option is going to have a value and the display name. This display name is what will be shown here, and the value is what will be sent to the server. So I can give here add sub for subtract, mul for multiplication, and div for division. So we have these four. We have this addition, multiplication, subtraction, and division. Now I'll give here as action value, which means I want to pass the selected value inside this one. So I'll take this, and inside the process servlet, I'll retrieve action value. I am retrieving it in action value, and I'll store it in a variable. Let me give a space here. I'll remove this out, no longer needed. And here I'll print that action value to see whether it is coming in correctly or not. So I'll refresh. Now I give 10 and 20, and I'll give multiplication, calculate. Sub is coming. Why sub is coming? For multiplication, I've given sub. So it should be mul. Subtraction, it is sub. I changed it. Okay. Now, when I give some value 10 and 10, 11, and I give multiplication, here mul is coming. So the drop down value, whatever user is selecting, we are able to retrieve. The majority of the problem is done. All we have to do is now pass this into the method, into this maths operation method. We are already passing add as a hard coded string. So always addition will be done. Instead of that, we will pass the action value here. So inside this Java program, we will retrieve that value action, and we are doing a switch case. If it is add, we are going to do an addition. For all other, it is not there. Let us see what is happening. I'll refresh. If I give 10 and 20 and addition, it will show 30. If I, for the same thing, if I give multiplication, it's going to show 0 because the switch case is not there. It is going to default break. What is the default value of result? 0. So 0 will be returned here. That is why we get 0 for all other. Subtraction 0. There's no value present. Now let's add the case for the other. Case for add is add, subtract is number 1 minus number 2, and mul multiplication is number 1 into number 2, and division is number 1 by number 2. That's all. I refresh here. I give 10 and 20, 10 and 20, and I'll go multiplication. Answer should be 200. We got it. Let me get rid of the EL. This EL is expression language. This dollar and brace is called an expression language. Same with subtraction. It is minus 10 because 10 is the lower number, and division because we have not given float. It is integer, right? The value returned is integer. Let us give as double. Double y, here also you have to declare as double. Okay, double L is 0 point, add cast to double, change result now. Double of 0, let's see. Okay, inputs are double, integer. Inputs should be double because I can give a decimal value also there. So this is good. Now it will throw error in the servlet. Let's go to servlet. And instead of integer dot parse int, we have to give double dot parse double. That's all. Double dot parse double. Double is not applicable for double int. So we have to just copy the same and give it here. Okay. What is the error now? It is returning double, but we are, see, type mismatch cannot convert from double to integer. This will return and double, but we are assigning it to an integer. Here also we have to do double. Okay, should be good now. We'll try 10 and 10 now 0.5. We got it. So now I can go 10.1 and 20.9 division. We got it. Let's try everything. Addition, multiplication, doing good. Subtraction is doing good. Any questions? Is this straightforward? Or you're still trying to understand it? Hello?
Rajesh, just I can understand. Just you are using the core Java here just for integrating with the advanced.
Yes.
Then yeah.
So this, instead of this drop down, we can do it in one more way. We can have 4 buttons. What I'll do is I will copy this. Okay. I'll add, this is a plus button. This is a minus button, like in calculator. This is a multiplication button, and this is a division button. So let's have this and see. Okay, we got the 4 buttons now. Now the same operation without drop down and calculate, we have to do it. For that, I have to change from submit to button. The reason is, okay. Okay. So what we will do, on click of this button, we'll call a JavaScript function. click equal to plus click. We'll go to the end. There is already no. There is script. No. Okay, I'll give a script tag. And I will write the function.
Rajesh,
Yes.
this one will come under JT web application architecture, what you are telling, because daily I am referring the word what you have given, because whether the topics are covering or not, because I have to make sure all the topics I want to learn, right?
No, I didn't get you.
The one which we are right now, it will come under J2E
Yes.
under web application architecture.
Yes.
Okay. Because I don't know, right? Just I am checking
Yeah.
the
That will be
documentation.
covered in J2E.
Okay. This one also J2E, right? What you are doing?
This is a JavaScript. In the Word document, if you see, there will be something as JavaScript.
Okay.
Actually, now the way you have to learn is we have learned core Java separately. Advanced Java cannot be learned separately. Core Java will be included. HTML will be included, JS, JavaScript. So from now on, the way you have to learn is mix up everything and learn, because what is advanced Java is a web application. A web application needs everything. It needs a CSS, it needs JavaScript, it needs a JSP, it needs core Java, it needs Tomcat. So the way you have to learn now is, when you create a website, you have to learn everything.
Okay, that means finally we will come to know the documentation what you given, it will be covered, right?
Yes.
At the end of the day.
Yes, actually, the complete Word doc will not be covered, because we have only 60 hours of session. That is a vast topic. That's a different Word doc I shared. From the Word doc, I'll try the max to cover whatever I can. But that's a totally a different syllabus. That would take a long time to read, because if you see, that has Spring, that has in-depth of Hibernate, web services. So those are all very high concept.
Okay.
I'll try to cover the maximum. That is why initially I didn't share the Word doc, because you'll get confused. Not everything will be covered here. I am like rewriting that Word doc and having some other thing. Maybe I can share that what will be covered. That will be helpful for you then.
Okay, I got you. Because you mentioned the web services, I thought you were going to tell the web services too.
I can give a theory or a high level, but showing hands-on it will be very tough. But if you see from day one, everything, whatever I'm telling, I am doing hands-on. I'm showing you in practical, so that tomorrow when you refer the video, you can play the video, and along with that you can write the code.
Yeah.
But going in this way for all the topics will be very tough. It will be actually not possible to do in like 60 hours. So I'll try the max. That is why whatever is main and whatever is important for you to understand in terms of reality, like the live application, I'm covering it based on the experience.
Yeah, sure. I got you.
A few things from the document you'll never be using it. So there is no use in showing you hands-on or covering that. It will be just like not productive. You listen it, but you'll forget it because you'll never use it. So I'll go over as a whole, like whatever is needed, but out of the experience. Okay.
Okay. You are you going to cover this Spring Boot?
Spring Boot, if time permits, I'll cover Spring Boot.
Okay. These guys mentioned 60 hours. Okay, I will just talk with my management, and just I'll get back to you, and we'll see, because it will be better if we cover like more topics, because we have the videos and just
Yes, actually, yeah, you can.
Just I will contact my management and just
Sure, because 60 hours will be very tough to cover everything which is there in the Word doc.
Okay.
Covering hands-on, hands because we daily 1 hour we are going, and that too everything is hands-on. So it will be very. I can go at a very high speed, but you will not understand it. So
No,
everything,
it
whatever,
doesn't make sense, right?
correct. There is no point in okay. There is no point in just taking a theory also, because showing a PPT, you can refer any other site also. What
Yeah.
you are going to learn from this session is something which should be fruitful for you, correct? I hope based on this 12 days, definitely you would have got some better idea, correct? Uh,
Yeah, I
what,
got the idea what's the Java, and before I am like zero, now I am like, just okay. I will try to handle the questions in, the
yeah,
current
the
environment,
only
whatever.
reason is every day I'm doing hands-on only. Every day I'm deleting the program. I am just showing you that if nothing is there, even if everything is deleted, there is no problem at all. We'll create from scratch. There's nothing like, oh, you should not change this. If you change this, there will be an issue. That's nothing like that. That is the way I'm educating you, because tomorrow when the session is over, you should be able to, okay, what is there? If the class is deleted, no issues, it is going to be generated. What if the project is deleted? Not an issue, I can recreate. What if the entry is in web.xml is gone? So that is the way you have to be educated. That's the way I learned. So going at this hands-on, practically all these will, and the Angular is also included. If you see, Angular by itself will take definitely like 40 hours, because Angular is a huge. Angular JS is there, Angular is there. That itself is a huge,
Okay,
which
we are
will
not covering Angular here. Just ask.
no, no,
Okay, okay, that's fine. Okay,
yeah,
we'll continue. Thank you.
yeah, we'll see. So what I can do, I was thinking today as well. So what I can do is with today's session, the servlet flow, like creating one web application from uh, JSP till going to servlet and coming back and display. This flow is done. I can show the same flow now using Spring and Spring Boot, maybe this week and next week. So because servlets will be servlets are used, but Spring Boot is what is getting popular nowadays. I've been using Spring Boot for like 4 years now. From 16, I am using it. So what I was thinking is from the same program, we'll convert into Spring and Spring Boot next week, and we'll run the same program. Then I'll introduce some Hibernate concepts. So you'll have like touch of all the topics then and there. So that is what I was thinking. But let me see if I can, if I have some other way also, I'll go with that. But if you have something to be covered, then you can like speak with like them and
Yeah, sure,
yeah.
Rajesh. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. But this is a building block. That's the reason I'm going. I am like I'm stretching more time on this one. But I think I'm going in like a normal pace only, because if I go too fast, also you'll not be knowing everything. Everything is new for you, right? All these, whatever we went through, is a new concept, correct? Everything is fresh for you.
Yeah, it's new.
So even if we go at very high speed, that it will not be any useful. Even if I show just a PPT, also it won't be useful. All you need is a hands-on to show you how everything works actually in the real world. Okay, so we'll go over. So what I did, I wrote a button and I created a function plus clicked. I am writing a JavaScript here, and let's give an alert inside the JavaScript. I am here. I think this needs a word function. Let's see. Maybe click is not there. On click. On click. Okay, on click. I am here. It is come. Now, what we will do? We have to submit the form. I'll get this doc. Here we'll have an ID. ID equal to action ID. Here document dot get element by ID. We'll use this ID dot value equal to add. This is one way of setting the value. Once we run, I'll explain. We can go over that. I'm here. Type error cannot set property value of null. So document dot get element by ID. What is inside this? It is null. Then we will have an I'll create one input type equal to text, name equal to action value, and return. Let's see. Cannot set property 91 action document dot get element by ID. Get element by ID. Where is the ID? I didn't give ID. Okay. ID equal to action ID. Okay. Now let's see here. Again, it is null. Value of null. Action ID. Document one document. This is something important. That's why I'm spending time on this. I'll tell you. This will be used even if you go into Angular. Till now, we'll be using this. Maybe instead of single quotes, double quotes I have to do. So it is worth spending on this one. Okay, let's go into this and refresh and see. Null. Okay, then let me check this and come back because there's no reason it should not work. E is caps, B is cap, I is caps. E element by ID. Okay. Action. Okay, okay. Action ID is the ID, right? I'm giving action value. Okay. So there is HTML input. So dot add now document dot forms of 0 dot submit. Let's see if it works. 1 and 1. It is submitting. Okay. So what we are doing is there are two ways to reach a servlet. The first way is to this the form is needed actually. Okay, the form, there is an action. This tells that this is a servlet you have to call. But how and when are we calling, that is determined by this button. Earlier we had this calculate button type as submit. If you remember yesterday, when we created this HTML, the type was as button. So when the type is button, the form will not be submitted by default. What is meant by submitting a form is when a button is clicked, all these values will be taken as a request object and this servlet will be called. That is called submitting a form. So when I click a button, the form has to be submitted, only then the values will be reaching the servlet. So the first way of doing that was, yesterday we did, the calculate button type will be given as submit, and automatically when this button is clicked, the servlet will be called. That is first way. Second way is we have to manually submit the form. So for that, I am having a button. I am having 4 buttons and type I am clicking as button. So if I give something as button, the servlet will not be called. If you see here, I am clicking, but the servlet is not called. This one, if I click, servlet is called because the type is submit. These are all types button. So now what I have to do, when the user clicks plus, I'll go here and I'll remove this alert for now. And what I'm doing, I have this input text box, but I've given as hidden, so it is not shown in the screen. And what I do, I set the value for this box dynamically as ADD. Earlier from the drop down, I took and I saved it and I sent it. Now when I click this box, I'm setting it as add. And this is the syntax document. Document means the entire page. Document is a keyword. This refers the entire page in the HTML. And forms of 0, which means first form. Whatever the tag you see, the first form you submit. Dot submit will trigger the submit. It will call the servlet. Whatever action is given in this form, this will be called. Let's say if we have 2 forms. First form is done here. You have one more form. You want to submit the second form, means you have to give here forms of 1. That is why we use this forms of 0. So the same logic, when I click plus, it will be calling I am doing get element by ID of add and I am submitting it. This works as usual. 1.2 and 12.3. 24.3 will be the output. It is there. Now the minus. What I'm trying to do is bringing something UI similar to the calculator. In calculator, you don't select this drop down. You click on plus minus only. So what is the next? We have the same function we'll call. This is important. Just ask me if you're not clear, because this is a basic concept and this will come in all. Even if you go to React.js, native script, Ionic, whatever UI you take, React native, everything has this JavaScript and JavaScript function calling. This is very important. So on all the button click, I'm calling the same function. What I'll do is I'll add one more parameter here as action, and instead of hard coding, I will pass this action here. So from this button, I will pass the action here, ADD, and here this will be SUB, and here it will be MUL, what I did some mistake. Yes, MUL. Here this will be DIV. Now everything should work perfectly like before. Either we can use this calculate or we have to use this. I'll use 20 and 30. I'll use multiplication. We got it. Any questions?
I'm good. Rajesh. Thank
Okay. Now we will just change the UI. Instead of user giving the input, we'll bring the calculator UI. What is the how much buttons a calculator will have? 9, 10 buttons. So we'll there is a tag BR, which means break the line. So if I give a BR tag, after the calculate button, there will be a break and these buttons moves down. See here. If I want to move one more, I'll give BR, one more space. So if you want to give more and more space, use BR tag so that the page content will be moving down. Now, before this, I'll create 9 buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So all type is button. Everything I'll click on number add. I'll add one new function. This is a JavaScript function. Everywhere I'll call the same function. And here I have to pass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 0. 0. Okay. Again, here I have to do right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0. Let's see the UI is coming or not. Okay, we got it. Now, after 3, we have to do a break. After 3, I'll give a break. So after 3, it moves down. Now after 6, here I'll give one more break. After 6, I will give one more break here. BR and BR. Now after 9, I have to give one more break. Great. Now after 0, I have to give and break and push everything to the bottom. So we have brought something similar to calculator, not completely, but something like 1, 2, 3. Now what should happen? I will not key in here. I'll give these number. I'll type in the numbers and I'll do the plus. That is what the user is going to do. Now on click of this, we are calling number add. If I save and run, it is going to throw error. It is going to tell there is no such function. You are calling a function, but where is the function? It is not defined. Number add is not defined. So we go to the script and we are going to create a number add, and the type is a function. Okay. Now what we have to do, this will bring a number, input number. Okay. Now what we have to do, whatever it is, the number is being typed, we will set into this, we will set into this text box. So what we have to do, what is the first text box name? It is first number. Now we'll give an ID. Using ID only we can refer a text box. First num text, the same way ID equal to second num text. So document dot get element by document dot get element by id of this first number dot value equal to input number, the whatever is coming. Let us see if it is working and refresh. If I give 2, the 2 has come. 3, 3 has come. It is not appending, that we can do later, that involves some coding, but whatever we have given, it is coming now. Appending we can do in one way. Quickly I'll do. Whatever is the original value, take the original value and add this number. Let's see. First I given 1 and 2. See, it is appending. This is a quick way. This means document.get element first number, that value is the value which is there in the input box. We'll add the current value. So number add is adding to the first number. Now I have to add to the second number. Okay, there is a problem. We cannot add to a second number. Okay, anyway, second number I'll go manually. If I click on plus, the number has come. If I click on minus 103 and division. So any questions? We are trying to use JavaScript to submit a form. That is what I'm showing you today.
Okay.
Okay. So with this, okay, there is one theory I have to tell you, which is life cycle of a servlet. We'll go to the documentation. Life cycle of servlet documentation. Before that, we go to the servlet. Any of the servlet we created. When we clicked on generate, override, we saw something. We saw lots of function. Source override implement method. You see here, these are the HTTP methods, and here it is. This is the life cycle. So we have destroy, init parameter, servlet config, init, all these things, right? These are the servlet life cycle. So which will be called first? That is what is the servlet life cycle. How the servlet, when the Tomcat is starting, what happens? How will it start the servlet? That is what is called the servlet life cycle. This is a theory, just for you to understand. So in the documentation they've given, the life cycle of servlet is controlled by the container. In our case, it is the Tomcat, by the container in which the servlet has been deployed. So if you are going to deploy this into a JBoss or a WebSphere, WebLogic, whatever Kubernetes, that is going to control the servlet. So that is what will be creating an instance of the servlet. So this is the process. If an instance of the servlet does not exist, the web container, in our case Tomcat, loads the servlet class, creates an instance using the new keyword, initializes the servlet by calling the init method. So this is the life cycle. So first init is called. Here we have this init, get init, init. This one will be called first. Then the life cycle, this will start waiting, and it will start the invokes as the service method for whenever the services is getting hit by the request method. The service will be called every time when we hit the servlet. Where is the service? Init service destroy. You don't see the here it is. Service is what will be called every time we hit the servlet through the browser. When we hit enter, right? When we hit this, service will be called. And when the Tomcat is being shut down, the destroy will be called. That is what. Yeah, that's a theory on this. That is called the servlet lifecycle. How the Tomcat starts and stops the servlet. Now, with this, the basics of web application is over. Like I have shown you how to create a web application, how to configure a servlet, how to configure a servlet in web.xml, how to pass parameter to the servlet, and how to retrieve the parameter from the servlet. Now, how this has evolved, we'll speak a few minutes on that.
Uh, Rajesh, before
Yes.
going to the evolution, right? Can you please repeat the life cycle? Sorry.
Yeah, life cycle is when the servlet is getting started. When we start the Tomcat, the init method will be called. You can actually test the servlet life cycle by I'll create a service method. I'll create this service. I'll click destroy init parameter init. Let's okay. Instead of telling theory, I can show you. Okay. Now what I have done, I have created all the methods. Super. Now we'll just groove a sys out inside and see which is calling first. You will get an understanding. Through that, I'll explain. What is this method? Service. Okay. Next. What is this? Is also service. To differentiate, we'll go service one. And this is the destroy. Destroy. As I said, being from a non-IT background, I used to experiment everything. Like what happens if we parameter? What happens if we delete this? There should not be a restriction on us. Like you should not touch this file. If you actually you can have a restriction like the file name should be this because if you know the reason because this is how it is done, you can accept it. Otherwise, since because the person who is teaching you doesn't know why it is done, you should not accept it blindly. When I was fresher, that is how I learned. So I always tell all my students, okay, so always challenge whatever is said to you. Everything you only then you'll learn. Okay. So let's control this life cycle also you should not mug up. You should understand through like how do you understand through this way only. This out. What happened? Okay. Get so let info. So let name. Okay, this will be called only when we call this method. Init. Init. Again, there's one more init. Init. That's all right. Do get is okay. Super. This is okay. Okay, good. Let's start the Tomcat. Let's clear everything and let us start the Tomcat now. Let's see what happens. Area for sysout has come so far. No. Okay. Now we are going to hit the first servlet, the welcome servlet. I'm hitting this. So far it didn't come. Here it is. Once I hit that button, first time that is where I'm calling the servlet. So what is the order? Init in hit one. Init. Okay. So this is getting called first. The init is getting called. Init is getting init with a servlet config param. This is called, and this in turn is calling the super.init. So it goes here. So after this init is called, this is called, then service one is called. Where is service one? Here it is. The service method. Then it is calling super.service. So the service is called. So first service with the argument servlet request and servlet response is called. Then it calls a HTTP servlet request and so after this method, this is method. Then control come inside. So in short, the life cycle of a servlet is, I'll write it in this. Life cycle. Life cycle means how the servlet is born and destroyed. Now I'll stop the Tomcat. We will get a sys out of this destroy before the Tomcat stops. That also you have to observe. Where is the destroy? Did I get a, did I get, okay, here it is destroy. So I am going to stop the Tomcat. No, this is not stopping. I have killed the Tomcat. I have to stop the Tomcat genuinely. I should not kill it. I abruptly close the Tomcat. Let's see if there is a stop button. No, I cannot do here. Let me start it here and show you. Okay, Tomcat is starting. I'll hit the URL once to ensure this what I not found. Oh, because from there only it will be called. Okay, I cannot do this. Okay, then you just know when maybe some other time when I get a chance, I'll show you. Because Eclipse, I don't know. I've not stopped the Tomcat genuinely. I've always killed this. This is not a correct way. Let me try pressing Control C here. No. Stop Tomcat. Okay, one second. Windows, show view. Is there a server view? Servers. Okay. This is restart, stop, publish. Right click. Is there anything? Stop Tomcat. Stop. Now it is stopping, right? Okay, great. So I'll start the Tomcat from here. I will access this web application. I will hit that servlet first time. We have got it. Now I will stop the Tomcat. See here, destroy is called. So when the Tomcat is stopped genuinely, it will close the servlets. Whatever servlet it created, it will close the servlet. So in short, the life cycle of a servlet is init, 3 steps only: init, service, destroy. And this is not for servlet. Servlet is the basic thing you have to know, because from the servlet only struts came, Spring came, Spring Boot came. So everything runs on servlet. So the technology might be named different, or something might be kept in like bundled together, but servlet is the basic with which everything runs. So the servlet lifecycle is init, service, destroy, ISD.
So, one more question, Rajasthan. Uh, if when we looked at the methods, right, we had like two service methods, two init methods with different kinds of parameters.
Yes. Yeah, we had.
So, how are we differentiating it? Because like one takes an request of HTTP methods and one takes the
No, we
service
will
request.
not. No, actually, this will be called This will be called by the container. This will be called by the browser. The HTTP is the protocol. I said, if you remember, HTTP is
Exactly.
the protocol from which the browser talks. Servlet request is what the container talks. So browser cannot call this. This is used when the container calls. This is
Okay, so
used
it's
when the
internally
servlet.
a call from the HTTP
Con
service method that
yes,
HTTP calls.
yes. HTTP
Okay.
servlet request only will be called.
Okay. The same thing for the init thing too.
Init will always be called by the container.
sorry, service method.
No, we had only one init. I mean, this is the init which is internally done. We don't have a. This is allowed. Okay, this is called internally by the container only. Service is what will be. This is called by the container. Actually, the way it works is when we hit from the browser, right? HTTP server HTTP request will come. That will reach here. That will reach to the Tomcat. Tomcat will call this. This in turn will be calling this one.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't. Is this answer or something else you are looking
A
for?
bit confused, but yeah, I'll try it. And
So okay, what happens is from the browser, which one got first hit? Let's once again do this. Here it is. We hit this. What happened? The server is down. Okay. So which one got first? Service one. If you see the service one, that the incoming is servlet request, servlet response. So this is called by the Tomcat. When I hit this enter here, this went into Tomcat. Okay, it reached Tomcat. That is what I showed in the diagram. It will reach the Tomcat. From the browser, it will reach Tomcat. Tomcat will call the servlet. It will then go back to Tomcat and it will go back to the browser. So in this case, this is what reached the Tomcat. Tomcat is calling this method and processing the request.
okay, got it.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, welcome. So now with this in this as the basic for you, the next section what we will do maybe is we have this structure, Tomcat, servlet, and browser, right? This complete structure. This was the MVC1 pattern, model view controller. Later, what happened? After this, struts came. Struts 1 came. So since I have been working from MVC1 till Spring Boot now, I have gone through the transformation of all the projects being transformed from one technology to other and how it will be. So struts 1 came, struts 2 came, we converted to struts 2, then Spring MVC came. No, actually Spring came. Then we converted to Spring MVC, which has again JSP. Then came Spring Boot. Even in Spring Boot, the JSP is same. The concepts are same. That's why I tell you the concepts are same even now. The only difference is we have this Tomcat browser and server. Now for running a project, if you see we have to install the Tomcat. I have written that also, right? The steps needed. Yes, we have to install the Tomcat. We created a web project. We added the API jar. We created servlet, web.xml, all these things. These are all repeated things. So what Spring uh, said, so the Spring developers, why should I do the repeated works again and again? Can't this be handled internally? That is what their question was. So what they did, whatever I'm going to highlight in red, we need not do it. This will be taken care by Spring. That is what Spring is, and it is very easy. The Spring application can be developed in just the first Spring application can be developed in 5 minutes. So I'll mark different color. Where is the font color? Here it is. So Spring said this line, creating a web project, adding the jar file, creating a servlet by extending the servlet. I'll use different color. Maybe that is too bright. Okay. And web.xml. I won't write the web.xml. This one. Spring said, I won't do any of these things. I'll create only a web project and I'll do my own business logic. You take care of everything. That is what Spring developers concept was. And write business logic. So with this as a base, Spring was introduced. Even Struts 1 was having the same structure. So we will not go over Struts 1. It was having the same pattern as servlets. Just the controller was introduced in Struts 1. So tomorrow what we will do with this project as our base. So we have a project now. When I call this, sorry, when I call this, we have a home page. When I click on submit, this comes here. From here, it goes to this page. Tomorrow, we'll create one simple Spring main application just to make you understand what Spring is. What happened? Spring has inbuilt server. Just quickly, I'll tell you. What will happen here is this layer and this layer will get merged, and we will not install Tomcat server anymore. Tomcat will be coming as a bundled inside the Spring Java application. You write a Java application and you run it, your Tomcat will be there inside. I'll show you tomorrow. So we'll not even install Tomcat. Just you write the program and run like a main application, like core Java. It will behave like a web application. So tomorrow we'll go over that. You will understand the difference between servlets and the Spring. Okay. Any questions so far in core Java or in web application? You can ask me. Yes. No, for now, no questions.
I'm good on my end, Rajesh. Thank you.
Okay, okay, great then. So we'll stop here today, and we'll continue tomorrow. Tomorrow to start with, I'll show you a simple Spring application because that's the latest in trend. So I want to cover that as well, and just put into your like thoughts, like what is Spring, so that you'll understand how we did so far and how we are going to do in Spring application. Okay. So tomorrow we'll meet up again then.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all. Bye.